Welcome, cadet. Now we are talking about combat loop, the ground combat loop. So if you are in a dungeon exploration and run into an enemy or a boss enemy, then you're starting a combat loop which is repeating your crew against the enemies here until the end. So the rules are explained here in detail, but you also have the short variant as a quick sheet, of course. So let's get started. We have the enemies here, and right ahead of the enemies is the combat quick sheet. I fold it out like here. So let's see if I can do it like that, so you can see the book and hear me well. A little bit to the side. Okay, so the combat quick sheet here explains everything from spawning enemies, the initiative, combat loop, and the weapon, the attacks, the actions, and so on. And we go straight ahead with this and directly having a combat with our crew against the enemy. And after that, we're going to the rules in detail. So maybe if we miss something like explosive damage because we don't use it in that combat, I explain you in detail as well. So first, we spawning the enemies. Enemy level is the enemy with the number. So if it's let's say enemy 1, we add that together with the location difficulty. And let's say we use the same location as in the first demo tutorials. So we have a difficulty of 2. So let's say we have a normal enemy without any number attached. So it's a just difficulty of 2 enemy. And this is the primary. And we have a species here. It's a gray. So this is already defined. So we're going here to the enemies. Grays are here. So the second kind. And it's a grade 2 enemy. It's a gray hitman. Okay, it's the first primary. Then um, we can roll a die if we can. Here in the case of a boss battle, okay, we don't have a boss battle right now. Let's say it's a just normal enemy. Determine if you can react. So for the first enemy spawning, we probably can do a reaction action with one of our heroes. Therefore, we need to roll a d6 against 4 plus. Take a roll. 6. So one of our heroes now, we have 3 different, can now react with an action or with psi powers, but not with action and psi powers. Oh, by the way, let's give Paul a special skill with the psi powers because I want to show it. In the tutorial before, we only give the standard setup here and we don't have this psi skill yet. And one crew member, of course, is allowed to have the psi skill, so we just cheating and say, okay, he has the psi skill, and let's say we already upgraded it once, so he have a grade of 2. It's like an attribute then. And because these are 2 updates, he's already have a level of 3 now. The upgrading I'm explain later on. It's in the after combat phase. It's the next tutorial, the next QR code. Then it's explained in detail how the upgrading will work, or leveling up. Okay, so Paul can now take an action, and let's say I skip it right now. Normally, you never skip it. You always use the action, like now using the chainsaw to attack the enemies. But I want to explain how the weapons work, how the actions work, one after another. So in this case, let's say I rolled a 1, so we don't have the reaction phase now. Just because I want to show it later. It works the same as I attack during the ground combat later on, so it doesn't matter to show it right now. So, okay. Then determine if a second primary enemy is spawning. So another hitman or another a level 2 enemy, because level 2 is primary now. So you need to roll a d6 against the map number to prevent this. This is meaning how deeper I'm inside the location. We have here different maps I visit, and the deeper I'm in, the higher I need to roll that to prevent that another primary is spawning. So the deeper the map in the location, the more difficult it gets. Same for the minions. So let's say I'm in map number 3. So I need to roll against a 3. 3 plus check, and successfully, so no second primary response. Then we have the minion check, roll a d6 plus the map number. 4 plus 3 is 7, and then check the result here. Put from 2 to 5, no minions, 6 to 10, 6 to 10. This is where we are with the 7 now. 1 minion. And in 11 and plus case, we have 2 minions. Minions meaning level 1 enemy, always 1 grade lower than the primary enemy. And the species is now not defined by the location. We have a random die roll, just a d6. 6 is our renegades. Okay, we go to the renegades here. The straight before the hell creatures and a level 1. Okay, we have a servant and a hitman as enemy. The second is initiative. So we need to roll the die to check if we are attacking first or the enemies are attacking first. And it's quite simple. You take the lowest agility level, 2, 4, 2. So 2 is our lowest agility level, and you add the value of 1d6 dice roll to it. And for the enemy, it's the same. She have an agility of 4 and a hitman of 6, so 4 counts. So we have a d6 plus 4, we have a d6 plus 2, so the chance that they attack first is greater. What we can do is we can say, okay, we send only forward our fastest man here with agility of 4, and the other one don't take action except cover. Going in cover is one option, so they just protect themselves. Then we would have a d6 plus 4, but as mentioned, they are then in cover and cannot take any other option. Let's say we don't do it. We go with all 3 in the combat without taking cover. So it's a d6 plus 2. I roll the die. Whoa, 8. That was cool. And plus 4, 8. Okay, good case. I have this in this German tutorial as well, just read ahead. If the result is the same, we win. Okay, so we win the initiative, meaning we attacking first, okay? And this remains for the entire combat. The combat phases are quite simple here. The loop is always first we spend 1 oxygen. If we are in an atmosphere, we cannot breathe. So if we run into the enemy, let's say in an outside section, let's say, show it here, we are in the map during the dungeon exploration and run into one of those enemies. So we go in the entrance, we landed in the entrance tile here. We could have just returned or teleported out before everything happened, or we make an action which costs us 1 oxygen if the atmosphere is not breathable here, and then the enemies are triggered. By the way, if we have multiple enemies, it's one after another. So we have the straight ahead non-regular enemy combat, like we're doing it right now. And if that combat is done and we get the experience points and so on, we would have straight ahead another enemy combat, okay? If we not avoid it. It's some option we explained before in the dungeon exploration. Okay, so, and here's purple, so then we would need 1 oxygen per per ground combat turn as well. Let's say we just run into a breathable atmosphere into a combat, so we don't need to reduce the oxygen bar here, 1 per game turn, so we have enough time to defeat them until our health points or whatever runs empty. Okay, so and the progress is here. I have to move it a little bit more. So the combat loop, also we need 1 oxygen. Then we activate all our heroes one after another. Then the enemies are activated from top to bottom. So first she, then the hitman, and then we recharge the energy shields. In this case, we don't have energy shield equipment, but the hitman will recharge the energy shields. Let's check it. What we have, shield type A. And do we have any shield regeneration? I guess not. So he don't want to recharge his shield. There are some enemy skills or some actions when they recharge their shields. In this case, nothing will happen. So the shield, if it's now a one time, we can attack or we will get strike through the health points. Okay, and this is the last phase, the recharge shields, and then we just repeat, spending one oxygen. Need to show it here. Spending one oxygen again, and then re-attack, they attack, and so on. In case they would have win the initiative, then phase 2 and 3 is reverted always. So this means we spend an oxygen, they will attack, we attack, recharge shields, and in the next turn, same again, they attack, we attack. It stays always the same. That's why he is noted phase 2 and 3 are probably switched depending on the initiative. Okay, now we not have to take care about enemy attack priority and so on because we are attacking first. So, what do we have as combat actions? We could have just attack with bare hands. We can use a weapon what we have in the hand. Um, this means you can have two weapons in your hands, like she have a blaster and a magnum, so you cannot fire both except you have some special skill. But standard is you need to decide for one weapon and then to attack with that weapon. What we can do as well, a barehanded attack is just a melee attack with very little damage. If you have running out of weapons, that's possible as well. So you need no weapon, nothing. Berserk is to increase the damage if you already make an attack. I explain it later. Covers like we could have done at the beginning of the ground combat to get a higher initiative if two just are waiting, which lowers agility in our team. Um, this make them more harder to get hit by the enemies, and if they get hit, they will reduce the damage by one or by two if it's an explosive attack. So what we can do else, we can do a flag attack. This is some attack like normal. We can do it with a melee or a ranged weapon, but we increase the damage, but we need to do an agility check. And only once at the game turn, you can, at the ground combat turn, at each ground combat turn, you can try that. And you need at least two heroes, because if you are only one hero, the enemy is always facing towards the hero, so nobody can sneak behind and so on. And if you fail, you just do a regular attack, so it's costs you just one oxygen in case of a non-breathable atmosphere, but you don't lose anything else. Um, Reload a weapon would be an action. Unjam a weapon would be an action. Use an item. The item can be somewhere here, like Lex using a medkit to recharge 5 first points. This is an action. We arrange and exchange. So let's say Lex use her action to exchange items with power. Then they can freely move everything between each other and also rearrange both. So also Paul can switch what he have in the hands and so on, and only Lex using the action, not both need to use the action. And we can do an escape test. All heroes that are not already activated can then participate in running away. And if we make it, we survive. And who is was already activated or who we want to sacrifice to keep the enemies back, we will lost after all. So if it's already difficult to escape, that would be maybe an option to sacrifice a crew member to run away with the others. Okay. Combat rules, I explain now as we do it, I would say. So, we need to decide. First, who we activate. Let's say, what enemies do we have here first? We have the servant, has nothing special except a weakness against ice. So if I have a weapon dealing ice damage, the damage would be doubled, but I have no ice weapon, sadly. And she have no armor, she have no shield. At the end of the game, if I defeat her, she grants some experience points and one credit. She has no escape value. This means uh, if there would be a number, and in his case, as example, if you get down to only 2 Hearth point and he gets activated, he roll a dice check against 4 plus. And if he is successful, he just run away and we don't get any experience for him. So we should defeat him before he run away if possible. If there's no value, they fight to the death. And yeah, let's continue. We have nothing special. Okay, let's go to the Hitman. Um, Armor of 1. So all damage what we're dealing him gets reduced by 1. Escape value is 2 as mentioned. Shield type is A. So the shield only counts against ranged weapons. It's not a B class shield, which counts against melee weapons as well. So if we attack him with melee weapons, we doesn't need to take care about the shields. He has a weakness against melee, so he can be really easy swiped out by melee attacks. So I guess we're going to chainsaw him right ahead with power. And what else? Special, smoke, and theft. So at the beginning, before we really handle the combat, we should check the threats we don't know yet. So here we have the enemy and the hero threats. Let's check the smoke. Smoke is here. All heroes' ranged attacks against all enemies are increased all enemies. This is important. He makes smoke, and this also counts if we attack her. As long as he is in play, the smoke effect counts. Yeah. Um, okay, again, all heroes' ranged attacks against all enemies are increased by plus X difficulty. So we have smoke 2, all range attacks getting by 2 more difficult to hit. If multiple enemies are present with this threat, then only the highest modifier is applied. Enemies' attacks are unaffected by this threat. So they attack us as usually, but we can very difficultly aim at both of them. It's just by 2 more difficult. And if here would be another enemy at the same type with smoke 2, it doesn't add together, doesn't stack. But if we have an enemy with smoke 3, then for all smoke 3 will count. And if that dies, smoke 2 of him will count for everybody. Theft is nasty. If this enemy escapes, so if he run to 2 health points and he make the check to run away, you will lose 1 piece of equipment of your choice from any hero. Um, so I can select one item no matter what and lose it. But sometimes I only have worthy or important equipment, so it can be very nasty if he steals our stuff. And by the way, if they get activated and if he has 2 health points and me roll a die check, if he make it, let's say he roll a 4, 4 plus is the check, he run away, we lose 1 item. If he doesn't make it, he roll a 2, he will activate normally and just do some action. It's not like in our case, if we run away and we fail, we spend our entire action, we cannot attack anymore with the heroes who try to run away. Okay, this is the special abilities. So now we have to take care. If you run away, he steals us some stuff. And if we fire at them with range weapons, no matter at which, we hit by 2 harder. Okay, now the weapons. Let's say I activate power first and I go with the chainsaw. Let me show you the weapon specification. It's I show you here so you can more easily read right here. It's items weapons. In this case, you have a chainsaw. That's a level 2 weapon, as I remember. Here, second grade chainsaw. The first value here in the brackets, if there are some, it's not always there. It's the minimum strength requirement. So he need to have a strength of 4, and he have a strength of 4 to use the chainsaw at all. Hit. If we attack, we need to roll a d6 against that number. So we need to roll 3 plus 3 or more to make a hit. Otherwise, we smash something, but we failed. By the way, if we use some weapon with ammo, a range weapon, or can be also a melee weapon, we will lose ammo even if we fail to hit it, of course. Damage, this is the number of damage points we deal, and sometimes we have a special effect here. Like armor piercing, this will halve the armor of the enemy. Fire will deal fire damage. This means if the enemy have a fire weakness, it will double the damage. If he have some, he probably have some fire resistance, then the damage will even get halved. So it can be positive or negative. Explosive means all enemies are hit. Toxic is some elemental, we like ice and fire. It's for weakness and immunity. What else do we have? T2 means you need one action to recharge the weapon, to reload it. If you don't spend it, you can use another weapon, but you cannot fire this weapon again, not before you recharged it. EMP, electromagnetic pulse, means you only damage shield with that weapon. So if even if we reduce the shield to 0 and some damage points are left, they don't deal health point damage because it's just electromagnetic pulse. armor piercing, ignore armor we have as well. So armor get completely ignored. Yeah, that's most of them. We go through them later on probably again. Okay, so this is the weapon definition. In our case, chainsaw 3 plus is the hit, 3 armor piercing, and ammo 4. Uh, some weapons don't have ammo if we just have some line here, so we can use them as often we like. If they have ammo, like the bazooka here, um, only one shot, then it's empty. But we can carry ammo with us to recharge it. This is some action to reload a weapon. Okay, in our case, we need some gasoline as ammo. So ammo 4, we make after the attack. If it's not jam, we make a line here to mark we used 1 ammo. And the only other thing I need to explain before we do a ranged or melee attack is we can boost the value, the damage, or the chance to hit by spending the melee or the range attribute. In this case, it's a melee weapon, so we need melee. And oh, by the way, the type here, ranged G or melee ML, we don't need to write down here. If I can remember, chainsaw, of course, is a melee weapon. I don't need to write here melee, of course. But maybe in some case, if I'm not sure what it is, I can note melee or ranged, but normally you know it. Okay, so for each 2 points he have as melee skill, here we have a attribute of 4, so we can spend 2 points to increase the damage or the hit chance by 1. And we can do it twice because we have 4 points. Now we have to think about what we want to do. Let's say we use the first point to make the hit chance from 3 plus to 2 plus, so we hit easier. And the second bonus we use to make the damage 1 greater from 3 to 4 AP. And do we even need that? Yeah, I show you anyway. Let's do a sneak attack. If it makes sense now or not, we just do it. So, the sneak or flank attack, it's officially called, is we say, okay, he does a flank. We need to do a hit check against 8, agility check against 8 plus. So his value is 4. We need to roll 4 or higher. Oh, he make it. And this will now increase the damage he deals by 3 points. And um, if he fail, he does the attack just normally, but flanked is used and we can only use it once per entire game turn, a ground combat turn. Okay, so he make now a 3 plus 3 plus the 1 for the ability, agility, for the melee attribute, so he makes 7 armor piece damaged, and he hit with a 2. So we roll a die, and we need to roll 2 plus to hit, and we have 2 special cases. So a 2, 3, 4, 5 would be just being a regular hit, we just dealing the damages usually. 1 is always a miss, so even we cannot reduce the hit check to a 1 and hit always. No, 1 is always a miss and a jam. This meaning the weapon is jammed and need to be unjammed. So he need an action next turn, or somebody help him with an action to make a tech check to unjam the weapon. This also counts for knives and melee weapons. Maybe something get loosened, the grip get loosened, whatever, you need to repair it. It's not just a standard bullet jammer, so it can be any kind of malfunction you need to fix before you can use it again. And we have high-tech weapons, so also the melee weapons, a rocket hammer or the chainsaw. It doesn't run the engine or whatever, so you need to unjam. In that case, you wouldn't spend ammo. This is the good news, but of course you don't hit them. It's totally fail. And the worst thing that can the opposite thing that can happen if we roll a 6, um, what we done, as I remember, you increase the damage by 1 more point. So 6 will be what we have? We have 3 standard damage plus 1 plus the 3 for the he was at 7, we would deal 8 damage or so then this case. Okay, and now what happens here? It ignores the shields because A-class shield, and you have a resistance, a weakness against melee. First, what happens? The armor will be reducing the damage. the armor doesn't bring a lot because the armor piercing because it's get rounding up. So a armor of we attacked him of 1 is 1.5, but you round it up so it will reduce the damage by 1 point. So from 8 it gets reduced to 7, and then exactly he have a weakness against melee and it's a melee attack, so we're dealing 14 damage points. So it's instant. You have just 6 first points. And by the way, here's the only section where we note things. So we killed him instantly, but it was quite an easy job. Maybe it was. Let us say we have 2 of them. Otherwise, this combat would be too easy. Just that I can show you how they react. So, okay, this enemy is defeated now. I mark the ammo here. I make just 1 line, meaning the chainsaw is used. Then he is not finished. Normally, all heroes have 1 activation, but he have the psi power, and psi power is always additional. You not must to do it, but you could. So we have the psi powers is also explained here on that page, or you take the quick sheet to see the psi powers. Psi powers is quite simple. You search for 1 psi action you want to take here. You want to initiate. Let's say I want to make a here, a regular psi attack. In brackets, it's the difficulty. So 5 means I need to roll a 5 with the psi value and a d6. So psi check against 5, 2 plus the 4. Okay, I'm failing. If I wouldn't have failed, I there are 2 damage points, ignoring shields, ignoring armor. So I can just reduce enemy's health by 2. But in this case, I failed. I will lose 1 health points here. And C is jammed. I write a jam here. So I cannot use C powers in the next turn until I spend a normal action to meditate. And if I meditate and manage to, I have to make a die check. And if I manage it to do so, it will be unchammed and I can make melee psi powers again. Or if I fail, I'm losing health points again. And in worst case, by the way, if I roll a 1, also at the psi power check, I will lose another health point. So in that case, I would have lost 2 health points. So yeah, the fun thing is that happened in the German tutorial as well. Okay, so C is done. Now I can activate the next hero with who I want to attack next. Let's say, yeah, I still want to get rid of the hitmans, even if they are hard to hit with the smoke effect. Let's use Mila to fire the blaster against the hitman. Um, it's harder to hit, but she have a range value of 6. And she hits with a 4 plus. Let's say with an agility, with a ranged weapon of 6, she can have 3 bonus improvements. So let's say she hit by 2 points easier. So already at a 2 plus. And we make 1 more damage. So 5 fire gets to 6 fire damage. Even if I have no effect, so it's just a 6 because no fire weakness here. Okay, and the bad thing is here we have the smoke effect. We don't should forget about that. So we don't hit against the 2, what should have been the standard case here now with the bonus. It gets too heavier, so we hit again against the 4. Let's see. Okay, I failed, but I lost ammo. Nothing more happened. I just make a shot but don't hit. And then let's say Lex does the same, shooting against this hitman. And wow, rifle hit with a 5 plus. That's quite bad. Huh. Yeah, let's say, hmm, this is very bad. And she have a range skill of only attribute of only 2. She's not a perfect shooter. Yeah, but why not? Okay, we fire with the ranged weapon, with the assault rifle, and we spend the 2 points to improve the hit chance to 4 plus. This is still meaning we only hit with a 6 because we have the plus 2 here. Um, Never mind. And we only increase the first attack. We have two attacks, but we have to split it. So if we have, but we have only 1 point. Would have need 2 bonus points to make both hits against the 4 plus. So in this case, only the first hit against the 4 plus, the 6 plus the smoke. So we missed. Okay, she is barely useless against a smoke enemy with that range skill. She just don't hit it. Okay, that's all heroes are activated once, and now we're going back here and activating the enemies from top to bottom, except him, he is dead. And quite simple, we just roll a d6 and we see what they does. So 6 is recover 3 health points. And this happens also if he already is full. So she tried to heal, but nothing happened, she's already full. And then the hitman, double attack, ranged 5 plus, two attacks and 3 fire damage. We have no weakness against fire, so the fire have no special effect here in that case. Um, but it's a double attack. So, um, first, target priority of the enemies. They first attack all who make a a melee attack. Second priority is all does a regular a ranged attack, and the third is all who does something else. And if multiple heroes does, let's say, a melee attack, you can select who of them get attacked. And it already counts if you try a melee attack. If you hit or not, in case of a ranged attack, if you make a gem or hit it, it does make a difference. You tried it, then you count as ranged attack target class. In this case, in our case, we have Paul who did a melee attack, so he has priority number 1, and the gray, now the hitman, firing against him, and 2 times 3 damage, meaning the first attack is a gem. Um, and this is important. Enemies doesn't take care gem. I wanted to show you where it's defined that a alien, an enemy, they don't get a weapon gem. So even if they roll a 1, they will attack in the next turn again if they roll the same action. So it doesn't matter for them, but they of course don't hit you because the roll lower is the hit check. Because the hit check is always above 1. And here only for your heroes. Um, where it was here failed heroes, not enemies. Rolling a 1 always result in a miss and also triggers a weapon jam. Somewhere in the enemy's description in the rules is written that enemies never jam. And as mentioned, this case only counts for the regular heroes. So the one meaning, uh, the first attack doesn't hit, but they don't jam. So the second, oh, I roll a 1 again. So both shots of the hitman failing to hit. And that was everything. So we have now the next ground combat turn. We just recharged the shields before, but all shields are full, and there's are no shield regeneration. This not counts for the enemies, except they have a ability to recharge their shields. In our case, we don't have a shield recharger and shields at all, so nothing happens. And we have the next game turn where we attack again as first, and then the enemies strikes. Okay, and this going back forward until we defeated them. I guess I do now switch forward and explain the rules in detail. Because you already seen one turn, this just happened always again. We take one action, maybe that we have a gem, some crew member solved a gem instead of attacking, or we let a Paul meditate so he can use the psi powers in the next turn, and so on. This going back and forward. And I switch now here to this section so I can explain you the rules in detail and entirely. So, enemy spawning process we already have had. We just don't have a second primary row, so you just roll and you get them. Um, Initiative we also had. Combat loop is clear. Attack priority is clear. Combat actions I explained. Oh, maybe one thing. Berserk. If I attack somebody with an enemy with a melee weapon and I strike him and dealing some specific damage. Oh, this we can show. We show it. Let's say we have here somebody with a shield, and we attack him with a melee weapon. And let's say I hit him, and I make, let's say, 4. I dealt 4 damage points melee. Um, then I can say I go to Berserk. This is only for melee weapons and increasing the damage here by lowering my own hurt points. So I make a more brutal attack but get hit as well. So let's say I make an plus whatever attack, let's say +2. We have had 4 plus 2 would be 6 damage. Um, and I'm losing 2. Let's go here. Let's say he did the attack, so he lost 2 first points. This is always the case, no matter if I hit or not. And now the 6 damage get increased by 2 to 8 points. And I want to show you in detail how it get here calculated exactly. So we have 6 damage points, and he have 6 shields, but only A class. So they will already hit the health points. 6 minus 1 for the armor is 5. And he has so 5 damage points, but he have a weakness against melee, meaning 10 damage points, so he is entirely defeated. In case he would have a B class shield, then it would be like that. We have 8 damage points. First, the shield will reduce the damage. We have 6 shields. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 damage points are left over. One of them will be absorbed always by the armor. So only 1 point will be over. And then we have the weakness, which double the damage to 2. So he would have lost 2 horse points. Of course, the weakness only multiplies after the shield and the armor. So if he don't get touched because the damage don't strike through the shield and the armor, nothing happen as well. So don't multiply it already at the beginning. Only at the end, before it strikes, before he loses the health points, only then it counts. This is important to know. That's why I wanted to show it once. Okay. And Berserk is again increasing the damage by losing own health points up to a maximum of 3 points. Um, Cover. If I take cover, the enemy, if they make the hit check, they roll, let's say the enemy hit with a 4 plus, and the hero who is in cover get attacked, then he wants hit by with the 4. It's if more difficult, so he need to roll a 5 plus. In this case, he missed. And in case he hit me, let's say he rolled no matter the 5, um, then the damage will be reduced by 1. It's like an armor. Um, or if it's an explosive weapon, it's also it's reduced by 3 the damage. Flank attack we already did. Reloading a weapon was just an action. Unjam a weapon. Let's say we have a jammed weapon and we want to unjam it. In the next, let's say Mila shoot a weapon, and in the next game turn, she tried to unjam it. Then it's just a tech check against 8 plus. Mila have had, I guess, a tech attribute of 4. Well, let's see. We have the heroes here. I closed them. I guess I don't need them anymore now. Mila have a tech level of 4. So, in this case, a tech check where we was escape check, unjam weapon against the 8th. D6 plus 4 of the tech level is 8, so she barely make it. If it work, the weapon is unjammed, so the next game turn she can use it. She can also go to some other hero and unjam his weapon, of course. If she failed, if tried a second time, also in the next game turn, the check is only against 6 plus. But the difficulty is if the second attempt fails, the weapon counts as damaged. So if you have a very only poor guys with a low tech value and they fail twice to unjam a weapon, the weapon is jammed. Then you can still try to repair it. but if you fail then again, against 6 plus again, the weapon gets broken. So you probably should wait, because if you left the ground combat, so if it's over, all jammed weapons will be unjammed automatically. And if you go back on board, even the damage weapons getting be repaired. So you have to decide if you want to try to unjam it, if you want to wait, and if it's damaged, if you want to fix it, or wait until you are back on your spaceship. Until otherwise, you risk that it probably get destroyed. Would be Could be very bad. Okay. Reload weapon, unjam weapon, use item. Let's say Lex using the medkit, just one action and regenerate 5 first points. Rearrange, I already explained. Escape test. This depends on the agility of the people running away, the heroes running away. And if you left one hero left over, and then you just add some numbers together, make a die check, and then you see if you make it. Um, Combat attributes, I already explained. You can increase the damage or the hit chance. One is always a miss, whatever you do, so you cannot use that bonus to always hit. Um, Rolling a 6, heroes and enemies result always in a critical hit, dealing 1 extra damage points. Shield and armor I already explained. Weakness and resistance. Yeah, here one more point. Um, if we have no effect, then you just have the regular damage, nothing special. If we have one weakness, but also one immunity, which is the opposite. So let's say I hit somebody with a fire effect, with a fire sword, but they have a weakness against fire, but immunity against melee weapons. This is possible as well. So they cancel each out, and you just get the regular damage. Okay, but if you have one more weakness than immunity, so let's say a fire sword against somebody with no melee weakness but with a fire weakness, then the damage gets doubled. One weakness applied. If you have two weaknesses, let's say the fire sword against somebody with fire and melee weakness, damage is 3 times. And in the opposite way, you attack somebody in melee and he have a melee resistance, then you halve the damage at the end, and as mentioned, or only the damage striking through armor and everything. Um, or if two resistances are applied, then no damage at all. Okay. Weapons definition, yeah, we already gone through, I guess. Armor piercing is armor divided by 2, and ignore armor is in totally no armor gets applied by psi attacks as example. EMP, electromagnetic pulse, only damage to shields and nothing more. What we else have here? We have this ranged or melee. The weapon you need to recharge with the T2. Weaken is cool if you have a net thrower as example, and you hit an enemy. The weaken effect, there's a number. They have net thrower, weaken 2 or so. Um, then the enemy's armor are reduced by 2 points, and this counts for the entire ground combat. And you can apply it multiple times, so you can get his armor down to defeat him. Very important for very strong enemies. So probably equip a net thrower if you could. Okay. Multiples attacks, I already explained. You just make multiple die checks, but the bonus need to separate for each of them. You cannot apply them to all of them, as except you have enough points, of course. Atmospheric conditions, yeah, just don't forget to spend oxygen, and the difference between non-breathable and a hell-like atmosphere. Hell-like is like very hot or very cold, very, very uncomfortable. You need some special protection. Um, this means same as non-breathable, just one oxygen you need to spend per ground combat term, as well as um, one. Okay, the healing is reduced. This is the special bad effect. Healing is halved. So if you use a med kit with healing 5 health points, it's reduced to 2.5, rounded up always. So 3 health points would be only healed. And Sea healing is unaffected because you don't need, if you make sea healing, you don't need to put off the clothes or the protection gear or whatever. Um, what I want to mention before was the better thing, the most worst thing about a hell-like atmosphere is actions during dungeon exploration costing 2 oxygen. So if you walk to a bulkhead and so on in the dungeon exploration on the maps, you're spending the double of the oxygen as in the case of non-breathable atmosphere. Um, Unconscious is important as well. If your hero thirst is reduced to 0 or up to -3, they become knocked out, and but they are not dead. So you can use some defibrillator or some other device to make them living again, or carry them on board of your spaceship, and then they will be not resurrected, recovered as well. But if they get reduced to -4 Hz point or lower, they are instantly killed. But you don't need to write down the numbers and the Hz points and negative values. This is only counting for the strike who strikes them down. So if the final attack make them having 0 or less Hz points, strikes worse than the -3, then they're instantly killed and you erase them. The equipment, of course, you can keep, but the heroes are dead. Uh, and if not, you just note 0 and it's done. They don't get attacked. That heroes never get attacked again. Not even in the dungeon exploration with laser barriers and minefields, they only attack living heroes. So if it knocked out, he will just stay knocked out. Okay. After ground combat phase will be explained in the next tutorial.